Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome, my dear students of Senior 1. Today, inshallah, we're gonna start talking about Unit 2, Chapter 2, Cell Ultrastructure. After discovering the electronic microscope, we know more about the cell and the cell structure and the cell components. We divide the components of the cell into two parts. The protoplasm, we divide the protoplasm into two parts. We say that the cell components are called protoplasm. The protoplasmic mass surrounded by cell membrane. The protoplasmic mass surrounded by the cell membrane and the cell wall. If it is a plant cell, it has a cell membrane and a cell wall. So we have the components of the cell, the main components of the cell, the protoplasmic mass like this, the cytoplasm and the nucleus, and it is surrounded by the cell membrane and the cell wall like this. So we have a protoplasmic mass like this. This is the protoplasmic mass which contain nucleus and cytoplasm. This is the protoplasm. And we have also the wall or the membrane, the walls and the membranes. This is the structure of the cell, the protoplasm and the walls or membranes. Cell, membrane. And in the plant cell, there is also cell wall. In addition to cell membrane, we have cell wall also. Okay, let's start talking about the membrane and the cell wall. Welcome, Rukaya. How are you? Fine?
Yes.
Today, inshallah, we're gonna start talking about the cell ultrastructure, the details inside the cell, components of the cell. We said that the cell protoplasm is made of cytoplasm and the nucleus, and it is surrounded by a membrane in the animal cell, and it is surrounded by membrane and the wall in the plant cell. So let's start with the membrane and the wall, the cell membrane and the cell wall. As you see here, the protoplasm is made of cytoplasm and the nucleus. And it is surrounded by membrane in both animal cell and plant cell. And the plant cell has, in addition to the plasma membrane, there is also a cell wall. There is also a cell wall. And there is many components inside the cytoplasm called the organelles, cell organelles. We're going to start talking about them. But we have to remember the differences between animal cell and the plant cell. We have to remember the plant cell has a cell wall, but the animal cell hasn't a cell wall. The plasma cell, the plant cell has green plastids or chloroplasts. The animal cell hasn't chloroplasts. And also the vacuole in the plant cell is big and large, called subvacuole. But the animal cell has small vacuoles. Small vacuoles, not a big one, and there are many vacuoles. Also, there is a centrosome in the animal cell, and there is no centrosome in the plant cell. This is the main differences between animal cell and the plant cell. Let's start talking about the cell wall. The cell wall found in plant cells and also found in some cells of small microorganisms such as fungi and bacteria and algae. They have a cell wall made of cellulose. The cell wall is made of cellulose fibers, which is, we know, we have studied, cellulose is one of the complex sugar. Function of cell wall, it support and protect the cell, and it allows the passage of dissolved substances easily inside the cell because it is pitted. It is pitted means it has many holes. It is pitted means it has many holes. The cell membrane is pitted. It is pitted. The meaning of pitted, it has many holes to allow the passage of substances. A bit like this. A bit like this, a bit like this. It is pitted. It is not complete, but it is pitted, so it allows the passage easily. Water can pass through it easily, and other substances can pass through it easily. So it is pitted. The meaning of pitted, it has some holes to allow the passage of water and the other substances. Okay, this is the cell wall. But the plasma membrane, which is a cell membrane made of double layer of phospholipids. The cell membrane, double layer, made of double layer, bilayer, or of phospholipids, which has a head and a tail. Head and a tail. The head is hydrophilic and the tail is hydrophobic. The meaning of hydrophilic, it is a water lover. It absorbs water easily. The meaning of water hydrophobic, it is a water hater. It doesn't love water. It doesn't allow water to pass easily. So you can control the passage of water by the plasma membrane, but you cannot control the passage of water and the other substances by the cell wall. By the phospholipid bilayer, we can control the passage of many substances. The plasma membrane is a thin membrane. The plasma membrane is a thin membrane surrounds the cell, plant cell and animal cell, and surround the cytoplasm. Separates the cytoplasm from other cells. Separates the cytoplasm from the external medium. Its function is organizing the passage of substances. It has a property called selective permeability. Selective permeability means it can choose what substances pass inside and outside the cell. It prevents the spread of cytoplasm outside the cell, and it can choose what substance can pass and what substance cannot pass. The cell membrane consists of phospholipid bilayer. Phospholipid bilayer. Okay, and one has a head which is hydrophilic, which love water, dissolve in water, can dissolve in water, and the tail which is hydrophobic. The tail, which is hydrophobic, doesn't dissolve in water, so it can control the passage of water by the bilayer of phospholipids. Now we can go inside the cell membrane. The cell membrane made of protein also. In addition to the bilayer of phospholipid, we have also protein molecules. Also, protein help in the passage of substances, to inside and outside the cell, and the protein area is a region to identify substances which enter the cell. The protein parts is like a door or a gate, which allow the passage of some substances, such as hormones or nutrients. They are controlled by the cell membrane. The cell membrane is like a liquid. It is resemble the oil over the liquid. It resembles the oil layer over a liquid layer or a water layer, like this. Because it is made of phospholipid, it resembles the oil layer over a liquid layer. If you have water like this and you have oil above it like this, the oil similar to the plasma membrane. The oil above the water, because it is made of phospholipid. The plasma membrane is made of phospholipid. This is a plasma membrane, and this is the cytoplasm. It is like oil layer above the water or a liquid. You can say that the cell membrane is a liquid state. There are some cholesterol molecules found inside between phospholipid layers. Keep the membrane cohesive and intact. So there is also cholesterol, which is found type of cholesterol is a type of lipid derivatives. Lipid derivatives. Found the cholesterol help in making the plasma membrane cohesive, متماسك, and intact. Okay. صلب أو مرن. Third, we can go to the nucleus. The nucleus inside the cell is the most obvious organelle in the cell. The nucleus is the most obvious organelle in the cell. It appears clearly under the microscope. If you look under the microscope, you can see the nucleus easily. The nucleus is found in all cells. You cannot see cell without a nucleus. Only some cells without a nucleus, like the red blood cells, only have no nucleus. But most or all cells have nucleus, because the nucleus is very important organelle, the most important organelle in the cell. It is the largest and the obvious organelle in the cell. It is a spherical or oval shape. Nucleus consists of nuclear membrane. The nucleus has a nuclear membrane. The nucleus has a nuclear membrane. It is similar to the cell membrane. The nuclear membrane, the same structure of the cell membrane, the plasma membrane. It is made of biphospholipid layers, and it has some proteins, and it has some cholesterol and so on. And it has nuclear pores. It has nuclear pores. It has some pores also to allow the passage of substances inside and outside the nucleus. It has some holes or pores to allow the passage of substances inside and outside the nucleus. For example, the RNA is made inside the nucleus, and it can pass through the pores outside the nucleus. So it is double layer, which is a double layer, the nuclear membrane, a double layer which is separate between the components of the nucleus and the cytoplasm. It has nuclear pores, which substances pass between the nucleus and the cytoplasm. So some substances can pass between the nucleus and also the cytoplasm, like the DNA, like the RNA. The RNA can pass through these pores. RNA can pass to outside the nucleus. Okay. And we have also the nucleoplasm, the liquid inside the nucleus is called the nucleoplasm. Nucleoplasm. It is like the transparent gelatinous fluid, such as the cytoplasm. And it contains the chromatin. Chromatin means what? Chromatin means the chromosomes. So it has here the chromosomes or the chromatin. Chromatin change into chromosomes in a certain time. When the cell starts division, the chromatin change into chromosomes found inside the nucleoplasm. And also there is something called nucleolus. There is something called nucleolus found inside the nucleus. It is a dark spherical object, and it helps in making ribosomes. It has a function in making ribosomes. It is responsible for making ribosomes, which play a role in making protein. May be found in some cells, and there is some cells don't have a nucleus. And also the ribosomes help in formation of some enzymes and hormones. This is the structure of the nucleus of the cell. It is the most important organelle in the cell. When they remove the nucleus from some cells like amoeba, the amoeba die in short time. But if you remove any other organelle from the cell, the amoeba can live for longer time. But only if you remove the nucleus from the amoeba die quickly. So we can say the nucleus is the most important organelle inside the cell. This is the shape of the nucleus. we have here holes or pores in the nuclear membrane or in nuclear envelope, and we have chromatin, which contain chromosomes. We have nucleolus, nucleoplasm, and we have the inner membrane and the outer membrane. It is double membrane. The nuclear envelope is a double membrane made of phospholipid, like the plasma membrane. The structure of the chromosome, we have studied it when we studied DNA and RNA. The chromosome is thread-like filaments found inside the nucleus and have a part called centromere connect between the two chromatids. Yeah, the chromosome is made of two chromatids and is connected by a part called centromere. And every chromatid contains a thread or a molecule of DNA. A thread or a molecule of DNA found inside the chromosome. So DNA found inside the chromosome. This is a DNA found inside the chromosome. We have one thread of DNA in each chromosome. One thread only, one molecule only of DNA inside the chromosome. And also we have some protein molecules. Some protein molecules. These protein molecules are called histones. These protein are called histones. Found here, histone protein. This is the structure of the chromosome. A chromatid composed of DNA coiled around histone protein. DNA carries the hereditary traits of living organisms. The DNA carries the genes or the hereditary traits which are being inherited across the generations by reproduction process. So it is responsible for transmitting the hereditary traits from one generation to other generation. Now we can go inside the cytoplasm. And the cytoplasm is a fluid or a liquid. A fluid or a liquid filling the space between the cell membrane and the nucleus. It's composed of water and some organic and inorganic substances. The cytoplasm contains microtubes, filaments called cell cytoskeleton, which supports the cell and work as a passages from transport substances within the cell. So there is a cell cytoskeleton, الهيكل الداخلي للخلية, the cell cytoskeleton inside the cytoplasm, which supports the cell and work as a passages for transport substances within the cell. The cytoplasm contains many organelles. We can divide the organelles in the cytoplasm into two types. Organelles inside the cytoplasm can be divided into two types. Membranous organelles, which is surrounded by a membrane, and the non-membranous organelles, which are not surrounded by a membrane. The membranous organelles, such as Golgi body, endoplasmic reticulum, plastids, mitochondria, and vacuoles. And the non-membranous organelles, which don't have a membrane, like ribosomes and centrosomes. They are non-membranous organelles. Let's start talking about them. The non-membranous in the beginning. Ribosomes, it is a non-membranous organelle. Ribosomes found on the endoplasmic reticulum or free inside the cytoplasm. They are small. They are small. They are small, round-shaped particles. If we have here an endoplasmic reticulum like this, if we have an endoplasmic reticulum like this, this is an endoplasmic reticulum. If we want to see the ribosomes, they are found on the endoplasmic reticulum. They are spherical shape, small spherical shape, round shape found on the surface of the endoplasmic reticulum. And when they are found on the endoplasmic reticulum, we can say this endoplasmic reticulum is rough endoplasmic reticulum, because there is some endoplasmic reticulum don't contain ribosomes. The endoplasmic reticulum which contain ribosomes is called the rough endoplasmic reticulum. And some ribosomes are free inside the cytoplasm. Some ribosomes are free inside the cytoplasm. The function of these round-shaped organelles, synthesis of protein, making protein. They are the factory of protein inside the cell. They help in synthesis of protein and send it immediately to the cytoplasm to be used in growth and renewal process. So ribosomes help in synthesis of protein, making of protein. They attach the external surface of the endoplasmic reticulum. They are more than those in the cytoplasm. The number of ribosomes on the endoplasmic reticulum more than on the cytoplasm. They synthesize protein which are sent outside the cell through the inner endoplasmic reticulum after modifying them. So they produce protein or produce hormones or produce enzymes, and you can send them by the endoplasmic reticulum to other part of the cell or to another cell by the help of the endoplasmic reticulum. After that, we have the centrosome. The centrosome or the centrosome, you can find the shape of centrosome here in the animal cell only. We can see the centrosome in the animal cell only, not in the plant cell. The animal cell only have a centrosome. Centrosome found in the animal cell. We have here a centrosome which can be divided into two centrosomes during the division. The centrosome is made of many tubes. They have a certain number of tubes, microtubes. Exist in animal cell only, except the nerve cell. It's composed of two particles called two centrioles. So we have this centriole and the other one also another centriole. They are made divide into two centrioles during the cell division. Plant cells don't have any centrosome. The algae and most fungi also don't have centrosome. But instead, there are parts in the cytoplasm which help in carrying the function of centrosome. The function of centrosome is production of what? Producing the spindle fibers. Producing the spindle fibers during the cell division. They make the spindle fibers to help in a cell division. They attach to the centrosome, to the chromosome, to make the division of the cell. So their function is production of the spindle fibers. When we studied the mitotic division and the meiotic division, the centrosome help in division. They play an important role in the process of cell division. Spindle fibers make the spindle fibers between the two centrioles extend between the poles of the cell, which help to split the chromosome into two parts or two groups. Also, they help in formation of cilia and flagella. Some living organisms have cilia and flagella, and the centrosome help in formation of cilia and flagella. Let's go to the endoplasmic reticulum. The endoplasmic reticulum, as we said before, a group of membranous microtubes found inside the cytoplasm. It's connected with plasma and the nuclear membrane, connect between the plasma membrane and the nuclear membrane. Its function is the transport substance occurs in the endoplasmic reticulum. They are like canals or tubes in which substances can transfer from one place to another in the cell or from one cell to another. The endoplasmic reticulum may be rough and may be smooth. The rough endoplasmic reticulum has big number of ribosomes, and the smooth endoplasmic reticulum doesn't have ribosomes. So why we say rough? Because they have ribosomes on their surface, has large number of ribosomes. Why we say smooth? It doesn't have any ribosome. As you see here in the picture, we can see big number of ribosomes. These ribosomes make the endoplasmic reticulum rough. The function of the rough endoplasmic reticulum, synthesizing of protein because they have ribosomes, modifying protein produced by the ribosomes, and producing new membranes of the cell, producing new membranes in the cell. Function of the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, synthesizing of lipids. The rough make protein and the smooth make lipids, changing carbohydrates into glycogen. So we can see a lot of smooth endoplasmic reticulum inside the liver. The human liver have a large number of smooth endoplasmic reticulum because inside the liver carbohydrates or glucose change into glycogen. Also, they help in changing the nature of some toxic substances to become less toxic or less poisonous. So it is found also in the liver to decrease the some toxic substances, to reduce their poisonous or toxicity. This is the endoplasmic reticulum, the rough and the smooth. Membranous organelle. Golgi body, also membranous organelle, a group of flat membranous sacs with a spherical end. The meaning of spherical end, it is a sac like this, end is like this, flat like this, and the end is like this, with a flat end or a big end. This is the shape of Golgi body with a spherical end. The end is spherical. The end of it is spherical, like this. This is the Golgi body. Function of Golgi body: receiving the substance produced by endoplasmic reticulum through transport vesicle, then classifies these substances, modifying them and transport them and distribute them to any part of the cell or to another cell which use them, and secretory vesicle which expel them from the cell in the form of secretion. So it receives substances, classifies them, and sends them again into another place. The structure of Golgi body, it's a different according to the secretory activity. So we can see a lot of Golgi body in the glands because they produce some secretions. Golgi body are named according to the scientist Camillo Golgi, the Italian scientist. Describes them in the year 1898. This is the Golgi body or Golgi apparatus. Another membranous organelle which is lysosomes. Lysosomes, small organelles, small vacuoles or small spherical membranous organelles or vesicles formed by Golgi body. Golgi body makes the lysosomes, and they contain digestive enzymes. Inside the lysosome, there is a digestive enzyme. So we can see them in the white blood cells because they attack microbes and destroy microbes by these enzymes. They get rid of useless and old and destroyed cells or organelles. So they can destroy the dead cells or the old cells in the cell by the digestive enzyme. Digestion of nutrients being swallowed by the cell and breaking them into simple substance. White blood cells have large number of lysosomes because they are killing, they help in killing microbes. Lysosomes found more in white blood cells. Another organelle, the function here, the function of lysosome, because they don't. The question here, cell is not affected by the enzymes of lysosome. Why the cell is not affected? Because they are membranous. They have a membrane. The enzymes found inside the lysosome separated from the cytoplasm by a membrane. After that, we have mitochondria. Mitochondria is a sac-like membranous structure, exists in the cell. All cells have mitochondria. And the number of mitochondria increase in muscles and liver, because mitochondria is the center of production of energy. The center of production of energy in the cell. And it has double layer membrane, which is called crista. Contain a double layer membrane called crista. Inside membrane and the outside membrane. The outside membrane and the inside membrane, which is called the crista. It has many folds. It has many folds. The crista folded occur inside the membrane. They increase the surface area of the medium of the chemical reaction occurring inside the mitochondria. It has a large area, surface area, because it is folded. It has many folds. The cresta has many folds to increase the surface area. The inside matter, or the liquid inside it, is called matrix. The material inside the cresta is called matrix. The matrix is the liquid inside it, where some reactions happen to produce energy. The function of mitochondria, the function is store respiratory enzymes in the cell, and they store substances which are formed as a result of oxidation or nutrients such as glucose. Oxidation of glucose occur in the mitochondria. So they are the center of production of energy. Burning of glucose inside mitochondria. We can call it the center of cellular respiration. Store energy resulted from respiration process in form of compound called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. When we burn glucose, we make energy molecule called ATP, adenosine triphosphate, and we can send them anywhere in the cell. So it is made, the ATP is made inside the mitochondria. We have vacuoles inside the cell, the big one in the plant cell and the small one in the animal cell. A function of vacuoles: storage of water, storage of waste, storage of food, until the body gets rid of them. The plastids, the last part of the cell, organelle of the cell, is called the green plastids. But not only green plastids, we have different colors of plastids. We have chloroplasts or green plastids. We have chromoblasts, which are colored plastids, and we have leucoblasts, which are white plastids. Found in plant cells only, and some algae. Found in plant cell and some algae, plastids which are classified according to the kind of pigment in them. The kind of pigment in the plastid. If the pigment is green, we call them green plastids or chloroplasts. If the pigment is colored pigment, maybe red, maybe yellow, and the other colors, it's called chloroplasts. If the pigment, there is no pigment, we can say it is a leucoplasts. Leucoplasts, the white plastids. What is the difference? The difference between the three kinds of plastids. The leucoblasts, colorless plastids, don't contain any pigment. Don't contain any pigment. Chromoplasts or colored plastids contain many pigments, different in color, maybe red, orange, or yellow. And you can find them in some fruits and some flowers. The petals of the flowers or fruits, They have many colors because they have chromoplasts. But the white blastids or leucoplasts found inside some plant leaves, like the cabbage leaves, inside cabbage leaf, they are white because they have no chloroplasts. And the root of sweet potato, stem of potato, because the function is storage of starch. Storage of starch. They don't have the function of photosynthesis. And the chromoplast or the color plastid found in the roots of some plants, such as the root of carrot plant. It is orange because it has what? It has an orange pigment called carotene. And the turnip also has a dark red color. Coloring, the function of chromoplast, coloring the plant with different colors. Coloring the plant roots, coloring the plant leaves, coloring the fruits, coloring the petals of the flowers, and so on. The third type of chloroplasts are called the green blastids, which contain a green pigment called chlorophyll, which has a green color. And their function is absorbing a light to make photosynthesis process. The chloroplast has a double envelope, it has a matrix and the stroma, and thylakoid, called thylakoid or granum. They are called thylakoids or granum. This is the chloroplasts. We come to the end of the organelles in the cell. Alhamdulillah. We can finish the curriculum, inshallah, next session. We can finish the differentiation of tissues in the next session, inshallah. And after we finish the curriculum, inshallah, we will have a final revision session, inshallah. Next time, we will finish the curriculum. We will finish the tissues, the plant tissues and the animal tissues. And we have another session for revision, inshallah. Thank you and goodbye. I hope you study this very well. Thank you and goodbye. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.